Welcome to the Michael Singer Podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagrata, Jai Masters. There's a thing in the Buddhist teachings called right understanding that can be interpreted so many different ways. One thing that you will find is that your mind, the proper mind, the clear mind, is your friend. I know the mind can be a problem. It is a problem. It's out of control, causes all kinds of issues. But mind itself can help you tremendously on your journey. So right understanding can mean that. It can mean just basic understanding of what is going on, because it's very confusing. Every moment, every day, there's all this stuff. Judgments, fears, desires, problems, issues. It's just very confusing, very overwhelming. It's kind of like you're drowning. If you're thrown into the water and you're drowning, you thrash around. You do anything you can to try to find some solidity. That is where most of humankind is. They are drowning, or they're trying not to drown. Some people are better at it, appear to be anyways. Some people are not so good at it, and you just have to keep struggling. It's a struggle. I think it's hilarious nowadays to watch. Nowadays, a lot of very rich people, maybe you noticed, all right? They have just as many problems as everybody else. People turn on them, they have enemies, they have this, they get sued in court. I don't know if I want to be that rich. You want to be that rich? I don't think you want to be that rich. It just doesn't stop. Everybody's got it. If you're a beautiful woman, you get old, or somebody doesn't like what you look like, or a handsome man, people aren't interested in you anymore when you turn gray. It's just endless. So, what right understanding is, okay, for example, I used to work on cars when I was in high school. So if you were to watch an internal combustion engine, I have to watch that because you have electric cars, right? If you're watching an internal combustion engine running, you can't see anything. The pistons are moving so fast, and the camshaft and the nits and the rods, and oh my God, it just looks like one thing. But if you slow it down and you watch what's happening, you can see the stages. The pistons go up, they compress, and they go down, and how it drives, and so on and so forth. Well, that's what you have to do with right understanding. You have to slow it down. So let's start with that. First thing you start with is consciousness. Why? I've discussed this numerous times before, probably every time I talk, right? Without consciousness, you might as well not be here. If you're not aware of anything, of what purpose is life, there is no life. It doesn't matter. People argue, is it going on or not? If you're not conscious, you will never know. There's this thing called awareness. I am aware, and we're going to talk about what you're aware of in a minute, but I'm aware of things. I'm aware, certainly, of the outside world. I'm aware it comes in through my senses. I'm aware of inner thoughts of this and that. I'm aware of things. If you're not aware of things, you're not here. Even if there's a body crawling around, walking around, if there's no consciousness inside, it might as well not be here. That's the basic understanding of right understanding. Consciousness is the beginning and end of all meaning. Why do I have the right to say that? Take it away. What do you got? Come on, take away your consciousness. You're not conscious. You've never been conscious. But then you had no experiences. Well, yeah, no, you didn't have any. Does everybody understand that? That's your foundation, is that you are an aware being in there that's aware. We'll talk about aware of what. That's a whole other discussion, all right? But there's something in there that's aware. Is it the same something? Are you aware that you have thoughts? I don't care what thoughts they are. Are you aware that you have thoughts, yes or no? What if you are not aware that you have thoughts? Then it doesn't matter whether they're there or not, because you're not aware of them. Awareness is the foundation of the meaning of everything. Without awareness, nothing has any meaning at all. Are you aware you have emotions? Are you aware of your five senses, the things coming through your senses? It's like you're so lost in it that you've never stepped back and realized, oh, I'm in here aware of things. I don't know anything except that I'm aware. There are thoughts, there are emotions, there's the world coming in, and I am aware of that. I don't usually need to go the whole way, but I don't know. It's like, is it the same you who's aware of your thoughts as is aware of your emotions, or do you need to phone each other? Is it the same you that's aware of your thoughts that's aware of your emotions? Is it the same awareness, the stuff called awareness, consciousness, awareness, that's aware that stuff comes in through your senses? Aware you have smell. When you smell something, are you aware of it? When you hear something, you're aware of it. Is it the same you that's aware of your smell, taste, touch, thought, emotions? Is there an end user back there? How's that? I'm a computer guy. Is there an end user back there, and it's the same end user? Yes or no? It's just, you feel, you hear, you think, there you are. Who? That's the whole essence of the whole ball game. Who is aware of your thoughts? Not what are your thoughts. You will get to the point where you understand it makes no difference what your thoughts are. When you get there, come talk to me. Are you aware of them? If you're not aware of them, it doesn't matter. So therefore, what matters is awareness. What matters is the end user back there who is receiving the thoughts, who is receiving the emotions, who is receiving what's coming through the senses. And that is one being. We are one. That's who's back there. When they talk about self, when they talk about Atman, when they talk about you are God descended, when Christ said, my Father and I are one, he was seated in the seat of consciousness instead of drawn down, distracted, the word I use, distracted by the objects of consciousness. That's what I wanted to talk about. Consciousness and objects of consciousness. Anybody follow me so far? What's consciousness? Awareness. What's an object of consciousness? What you're aware of. I'm going to go very slow. I never do. Okay? Do you understand the difference between the light and what it's shining on? Is there a difference? But no, because what it's shining on illumines is pure. It doesn't matter. The object is not self-illuminous. It's not self-effulgent. Light is shining on it. It looks the same. It looks special because light imbibes it with beauty or whatever it is. But the light is separate from what it's shining on. Light is separate from the object it's shining on. Consciousness, awareness is separate from the object of consciousness, that which it's aware of. If you have that, you understand everything, but you can't stay there. You get distracted by the object of consciousness. What does? Consciousness. Does your consciousness get distracted? Pay attention. What does that mean? Hello, come back. Where were you when you weren't paying attention? I was in some thought somewheres. I was in emotion somewheres. I was fixated on somebody or something, right? My consciousness had left the seat of consciousness, the source of consciousness, enough to where it was totally fixated on the object of consciousness. That's exactly what I want to talk about. Consciousness and object of consciousness. But I ain't going forward till I know you got it. Because there's no reason to. Unless you have that, you're just going to be in the objects of consciousness. Where are you when you're not seated in the seat of self? Lost in the objects of consciousness. If you're not self-realized, which is who you are, the self. If you're not self-realized, what are you? Car realized, sex realized, people realized, money realized, liking realized, fear realized, desire realized, yes or no? You're lost in the object you're conscious of instead of being able to remain seated in the source of consciousness. That is the essence of all of spirituality. That is everything. Okay? All right. Right understanding, we've now started. The separation, the understanding that object of consciousness is completely different than the consciousness itself. Consciousness is the light The object is what it's shining on. Consciousness is the source, the light, the object, what it's shining on. If you get all involved in what it looks like because it's shining on, look how pretty, it's a diamond, oh my God. It doesn't matter. It's consciousness that's aware of it. Doesn't matter if it's nice looking or not. You understand that? Awareness is everything. I already said, how do you know? Turn off the light. Well, it all went away. Turn off the light of consciousness. There's nobody home. Hello, knock on the door. Okay? But you are home. And it's a problem. Why? Because you are getting distracted. You, the self, the Atman, the soul, call it whatever you want. The indwelling end user that is receiving all of this is getting distracted by the object of consciousness. How distracted? An entire lifetime's worth of total distraction. Why are you afraid of dying? Because you are so distracted by what is coming in through your senses that the consciousness thinks it's a body. That's like saying I'm a light shining on an object, and now the light thinks it's the object. It's not. It's the light shining on it. In the Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, Arjuna, there is no death. No one's going to die here. The self is beyond all that, transcendent. Waters can't drown it. Weapons can't pierce it. Fires can't burn it. Of course not. You who's aware are not what you're aware of. They are things you're aware of. The self has nothing to do with that. The consciousness is the awareness of being. And when you touch that, if for 1 second you went deep enough inside at some point in your life and you touch the self, you will never be the same for the rest of your life. You're now a knower of a truth that is beyond what most people ever come to realize. Everyone else sees it running. It's running so fast, they're running after it. You, even for a moment, it will change your entire life. That's a satori in Zen, they call that. You touched that deeper part of your being. And you know it will always be there. It's always been there. It will never go away. It can't go away. It can't suffer. It's just there. It's just aware of what it's aware of. The trouble is that what you're aware of has distracted you at a level that is incomprehensible. You're identifying the self, the consciousness is identifying with what it's looking at. Is it what it's looking at? I once said something that psychiatrists, they don't like it at all that I say this, right? You are not depressed. Nobody is depressed. Nobody has ever been depressed. They're staring at a depressed psyche. Can the psyche get depressed? Oh, yeah. Can it? Oh, my God, I don't really alive. She left me. I don't even know why she bothered living. Can it do that? That's something you're looking at. That's something you're aware of, isn't it? But you're so fixated on it that not only do you get distracted by it, you stay distracted by it. You do what's called identify with it. You identify with what you're looking at. I'm looking at a car. I'm looking at my car. All right? Is it you? Well, kind of. No, it's not. Okay. What happens if the car you're looking at gets scratched? Your brand new car, a little scratch in it. Where? I don't know, I need a magnifying glass. Oh, look, it's scratched. Oh, my God. Right? You think it's you. Not the total identification. I mean, you do realize it's not you. Or if I really push you, but you act like it's you, don't you? You do that with your spouse. You do it with your children. That's my daughter. No, that's out there. You're in here. And that is something you're aware of. But you're so aware of it that you're what psychology calls you're fixated on it. Your consciousness is fixated, so distracted that it identifies with what it's looking at. Now, I've got my two favorite words, distraction and identification. Those are qualities of what consciousness can do. Consciousness is conscious. It's the light. It's back here. It's fine. It's fine. You don't like your thoughts, let them go. You don't have them. Not suppress them. I'll tie it all together. Energy comes up inside of you, right or wrong. Can it be distracting? Can desires be distracting? Can fears be distracting? Okay? Comes up. What can you do with that energy? Now I don't talk techniques. To me, the technique is right understanding. If you understand what's going on, you'll find your way out. But if you don't understand what's going on, you just stay lost. You're just drowning. So what can you do with that energy comes up? So it is, energy comes up. One, defend yourself. Protect yourself from it. Do something to make it so it's not bothering you. What happens when things bother you? You try to make them not bother you, don't you? It's called suppression. The normal, reactive way that a human being deals with things that they don't like is to push them away. I'll deal with it inside myself. I handled it well, just don't talk about it. No, I'm not kidding. I'm over that. I'm over it. Why are you talking about it? Leave me alone. I'm over it. I've been over it for years. The net result is the energy comes up and you don't realize, God, I love where we're going with this talk. You are in there. I said that to start with. When you suppress, where does the force come from to push away the energy that's coming up? Doesn't it feel like that? Does it feel like the energy is coming up and you push it away? Yes or no? Do you push things away in there? Where's the power? Where did that force come from that's opposing the disturbing force? It comes from consciousness. And I've taught you this before. You call it will. I used my will to push it away so it doesn't bother me anymore. It'll bother you for the rest of your life if you do that. If you push it away, it did not go away. You stored it. You pushed it away. You kept it from coming back into your consciousness. You kept it from coming back to where you have to deal with it. You suppressed it, repressed it, denial, call it whatever you want, all the psychological stuff. You pushed it away. Where did the power come from inside that you had to push it away? That's what I'm talking about. If the motor's running, the engine's running, you can't see what you don't piston, you can't say anything. I'm slowing it down. Will you let me do that? Slow it down. You're in there. Yes, things come up that are disturbing. What do you tend to do with them? Protect yourself from them. Who? You in there. Same you. There's just one of you in there. The end user comes down and pushes away that energy, which, by the way, stores it. It will come back up for the rest of your life. Anything you ever pushed away is coming back, whether it be in your dreams, whether it be things remind you of it in life, and you get over it. You know, a smell could make you go back and get depressed or excited because it smelled like what your mother was cooking, depending on whether you liked your mother or not. Yes or no? Is it true that those stimuli happen? Okay? Slow it down. What's actually happening? You stored that inside. You stored what it smelled like when mommy was cooking. You stored what it felt like during your divorce. You stored what it felt like when you were really sick and you had cancer, and oh my God, you got over it, but it bothered you the rest of your life. You store these events. Therefore, they bother you because they come back up. What is the force that you used to push that down there? And every time it comes back up, you push it back down. Do you even know? Literally, it is the force of focused consciousness. I'll repeat that. That's what willpower is. The force of focused consciousness. If I take a magnifying glass and I go out there into the sunshine, there's sun all over the place, all over the field, but I hold that magnifying glass in one spot, what does it do? It concentrates the light that's everywhere. Isn't it amazing? It just takes the sunlight and the heat. The whole power of the sun gets concentrated under one spot and starts burning the leaves. Yes or no? Whoa, that's what consciousness is doing when it focuses. It's taking the power of consciousness. In yoga, we call it chit shakti, conscious energy. It's taking the power of consciousness, real you back there, the essence, God, call it whatever you want, and focusing it, that entire power, down to one spot. And that creates a power of will. That is what the power you're using when you focus your consciousness. When something bothers you, I guarantee you focus your consciousness on it. Don't you? Otherwise you wouldn't know it's bothering you. All right? Or it wouldn't be bothering you. That didn't bother me. But you don't know what she said. I don't care. Oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. It bothered me. That means you focused on it. You focused on it, and when you focus on it, it creates the exact power of holding that magnifying glass, your power of consciousness, which is God. You're a great being in there. But you made yourself so little that you focus your consciousness down onto your thoughts, your emotions, and what comes in through your senses. And what happens is when somebody distracts you, something comes up from below, comes up, you immediately get distracted, which means what? What does distracted mean? I focus my consciousness on it. So you see distracted as a bad word. I don't. It's part of the pistons going up and down. It's part of slowing this down. When you get distracted by something, what got distracted? Your consciousness. Your awareness of being. Your awareness is now distracted by that thought, or distracted by that sound, or distracted by that sight. What does that mean? Your consciousness got focused on that. Please, do you understand? I'm slowing it down so you can understand what's going on, right? Otherwise, this all happens. So when your conscious, your awareness of being gets distracted, it means it focuses on a thought or an emotion or your body or on a sight or a sound. It's focusing on it more than it was focusing on something else. When it does that, it's doing the same. I'm going to cry. It's doing the same as that magnifying glass. It's taking the power of the sun and focusing it down to one spot. That's what will is. That's where your power comes from to push it away. By focusing on it, you're focusing Chichakti, conscious energy, on that spot, and it has power. So you can push away things that bother you. That's what's happening. All right, we're getting there. Slow it down, okay? So do I do that? Of course you do that. You call it protecting yourself. When it goes past your boundary, you're going to focus on it, aren't you? If it's within your boundary, you don't focus on it so much. Right? A guy beeped at me. Okay, the sun is shining. It's a little hot, right? But boy, if it gets past your boundary, whoa. That's what's so funny. You focus on that which you like the least. And when you focus on it, you store it. Because you focus the energy on it, conscious energy, it can't pass through because you opposed it. You're in there fighting with yourself. And you make quite a mess in there, don't you? So when you resist, it is consciousness pushing it away because I don't want to experience it. What if you do want to experience it? Let's talk a little positive for a second. Let's say you turn the corner and there's this gorgeous sunset, magenta and this and violet. Oh my God, I've never seen such a thing in your entire life. But you weren't expecting it. It shocked you. How do you describe that when you tell somebody? You sit there and say, oh my God, that was amazing. It touched me to the depth of my being. It touched me to the depth of my being. What does that mean? It touched me to the depth of my being. It means you didn't block it. It means whatever it was came all the way in and touched the essence of my being. It touched consciousness itself with no interference. You even say, I felt I was in the presence of God. You were. There are moments you've had that are that beautiful. They don't last very long, do they? But you want them again, don't you? I'll buy that house. I'm like, I can't afford it, but if I can watch that sunset. Okay? It's deep. That's deep stuff when it touches the depth of your being. What it says is, I did not resist. Nothing in me resisted the experience. Let's go to a more personal experience. Have you ever been just so in love with somebody and you haven't seen them for a while and they come and you hug them and you say, I melted into his arms? Have you ever melted? I hope so. No, seriously. It's very rare, all right? And it doesn't last. Next time they hug you, and I'm busy. See the difference? If you are completely open, what does that mean? Non-resistant. I am not resisting being here with the experience that's taking place. It is touching me to the depth of my being. And then you are with the self. What you're feeling, experiencing, is the deepest part of your being, which is yourself. There's nothing in between. The mind didn't say, but will you love me tomorrow? Which it does say, doesn't it? Careful, careful. You've done this before. Don't go so fast. You see what I'm saying? Something interfered with the flow. It didn't make it to the depth of your being. Am I slowing it down enough? Do you see what's going on? You're back there. Things are distracting your consciousness, and therefore you're getting involved in them. And I said to you a moment ago, you don't just get distracted by it, you identify with what you focus on. You identify to where you think you're a human being. You're no more a human being than a roach is that thing crawling around the floor. There's somebody, even a roach is trying to get somewhere, trying to get some food, trying to do something. There's somebody in there. I'll prove it. Here's a dead roach and here's a live one. Do they behave differently? What's the difference? What's the difference? A moment ago, it was moving around. Now it's just lying there. Self, consciousness is no longer focusing on that body. Goes for roaches too. There's a thing called a living force. Shakti, prana, well, call it whatever you want. It is coming from the deepest place, focusing on an object. In that case, that body, your body. It's not that. So I told you, nothing dies. Nothing's born. It's just there, focusing on something that's born and dying. Consciousness has been here. How long has consciousness been here? Well, I don't know. The universe was, 13.8 billion years, okay? And what created the universe, all right? It's eternal. It's always been here. That's you. That's you. There is no death. There's no birth. There's just consciousness being aware of what it's aware of. And in your case, it's aware of that guy. In your case, it's aware of that girl. Do you understand that? But if you go deep enough, inside, you will realize who you are. And that's self-realization. That's ultimately, if you realize that and stay there, then we have a word for that. It's called enlightened. A being who is able to withdraw consciousness from its distraction on thoughts, emotions, and what's coming through your senses. It's called seated in the seat of self. And there are great beings, very great beings, whether you know it or not, don't care whether you like it or not, right? Very few who have established the consciousness in the consciousness itself and don't get distracted by the thoughts or emotions. They can still have them. They're welcome to pay attention to them, but they're also welcome to not. Oh, there's a big difference. You're not welcome to not, are you? And what happens is the consciousness itself ceases to focus on the individuality of your thoughts, your emotions, your body, and what's coming through your senses. Well, what's it focus on? Consciousness itself. What does that mean? It's just an ocean of consciousness. Somebody once asked Meher Baba, the enlightened master. There are very few truly enlightened masters. There are high people running around, but a truly enlightened master, that's a serious thing, okay? And they asked Meher Baba, who are you? Because they felt who he is, they see who he is. Who are you? And then he answered, I was in the beginning, before all else was created, and I will be in the end, after all else falls away. There was never a time I was not, and there will never be a time that I am not. That's what Christ told me when he said, my Father and I are one. I told you the other day, one of the favorite things I don't read the Bible. I read it once, but it all comes back. I read it in the 70s, right? There was something that he said during the Last Supper that really yogis love it. He said, I'm leaving, and you'll have to fare for yourselves, whatever, right? And they said, no, we want to go with you, Master. They called him Master. I like that, right? I want to go with you, Master. And he said, no, you can't. They said, why? Exact words were, where I go, you cannot follow. Oh my God. If you understand where he's going, where he is, you can follow, right? But you got some work to do, don't you? To cease being distracted by your thoughts, your emotions. Like you think your thoughts and your emotions are really important, don't you? Come on. Now, that doesn't mean you should suppress them. I started to tell you, there's three things you can do with the energy when it comes up. You can suppress it, push it away, I don't want to deal with it. Good luck. You'll be a complete mess your entire life. You can express it. Whoa, that sounds like more fun. You pissed me off, baby. I'm going to start pots and pans are flying around here. And then after they start flying around, God, I feel much better. I'll bet you do. Of course you do. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. You just sit right there and listen to what I got to say to you. What did you just do? You took the energy that you couldn't handle, and instead of pushing it away, you just let it out, whatever it is, positive, negative, whatever. That's what you did with the energy. I'm teaching you. The car is running, but you can't see what's going on. The engine's turning too fast. I'm slowing it down. Do you understand that? So these are two things you can do with the energy. You can resist it, store it inside, suppress it, and make a royal mess of yourself for the entire rest of your life, because it's going to keep trying to come back up. There's not a single thing you ever pushed away that is not trying to come back up. Period. It's not natural. It's not going to stay down there. So it comes up in your dreams. It comes up every moment of your life. You don't realize it. We talk about that voice in your head. I talk about it a lot. It's just chatter, complain, this, that, blah, blah. It is what you store down there trying to come back up. That's why you can't quiet the mind, because it's got all this energy that's trying to release inside. Doesn't it talk about things that bothered you in the past and talk about what might go wrong? Do you know how you decide what might go wrong in the future? By what happened in the past. Otherwise, how would you even think about it? So you stored all this stuff, and so it comes back up. I'm showing you the flow of energy. So 3 things you can do. 1, suppress it. 2, express it. 3, transmute it. What do you mean transmute? It's just energy. It's just energy coming up inside of you. It's just energy. The whole world is just energy. Einstein said so. It's just energy taking form. It's going to come in. If it comes in through your eyes, it's bringing energy inside. Why do you think you get upset by what happened outside? Because what's out there comes in through your senses. That's why you have senses. Again, I'm slowing it down. The most important part of your body is your senses. Why? If you don't have them, you're not here. I said, if consciousness is not there, but if consciousness is there and there's no input devices, you guys are computer guys, you have I/O ports, your eyes, your ears, yes or no? Are they I/O ports, input-output ports? Okay. And it's taking in the outside world and sending it back to you. If you don't have the senses, consciousness is not receiving anything from the outside world. The purpose of having a body, the purpose of taking birth, is that you have senses. The body has senses that can experience the world so that you in there can have experiences. Have I slowed it down enough? Well, what about the rest of the body? The senses are just like these eyeballs and ears and things. No, there's a nervous system. Let's talk about your systems in your body. Is there not a nervous system? What's its purpose? To pass the messages that come in through the senses back to the self. It just passes, boom, 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 like a network, passes it back, and the end receiver receives what came in. Good, Mazel tov. Trouble is you can't handle any of this. You freak out by what came in. Oh my God, look what she said. No, not look what she said. Notice that you heard what she said. Stuff comes in. It's all just energy coming in. And the rest of it, I'll do it very quickly. Well, what about the rest of your body? Well, I don't know. You have a nervous system. The spine passes the messages from the outside up. That's the whole thing. It's all about that. If it ain't happening, well, it'll not be here. Well, what about the digestive system? Well, it turns out that that body of yours is not yours. It belongs to 32 trillion living cells that are interacting with each other to make this thing. Wow, that's quite a robot. Well, don't they need oxygen? Don't they need energy, food? Oh, that's what the digestive system is. What about the muscular system? What's that got to do with the senses? Well, I don't know. I'll take away your muscular system, and you ain't going nowheres. You're kind of stationary. Well, I want to be mobile. Well, you want to be mobile, you got to have a muscular system. What about a skeletal system? Well, we'll have ourselves a muscular system that is a blob that's lying there. I can't even stand up because it has no structure. It all is for the purpose of you in there experiencing what's happening out there, which starts with the senses, and then all the other systems support that to keep that alive. And the one that is the most freaky, I don't even want to think about it, it's so freaky. What about the reproductive system? I don't know how you have the ability to clone yourself. There's nothing there, and then all of a sudden, there's something there, and it looks like me. It doesn't look like me. It looks like a merger of him and me. Holy mackerel. How'd that happen? Well, that's pretty complex stuff, okay? But that's what that system is for. So you have more of you guys running around. Now do you understand your body? Now do you understand the entire purpose of your birth? I told you I'm going to slow it down. Did I? So this is what you've inherited. This is what you have. What's the meaning of life? It's simple. The meaning of life is the experiences of life. You took birth. Well, why did I take birth? To get rich? Give me a break. You took birth to have the experiences that you're having. Well, why? What's the purpose of that? To learn to return to the seed of self. Earth is a place the souls are sent to evolve. What does it mean to evolve? The body pretty evolved. It did a really good job. Your body can do a lot of things. Now, the evolution's inside now. Why? Darwin said it was all about survival of the fittest, all about adaptability, didn't he? That's what evolution was. How about you guys? How you surviving inside? Struggling a little bit? Got some problems? Fears? Desires? Anxieties? Tensions? Stress? Not so much fun, is it? Every single day. You wake up every morning, I'm back. This is going to be fun. I wonder what's going to happen. Oh boy, I get to have experiences. Bring them on, baby. That's your attitude? No, that's not your attitude. Why? For the same reason that an unevolved animal can evolve. It can evolve. It can do that. It can do that. All right? You can evolve inside to where you're adaptable. You're able to handle. Can you handle that somebody dished you? Can you handle that somebody lied about you? Can you handle that someone who you're close with left you? You got real quiet. In other words, how adaptable are you? How evolved are you? Does that mean that you shouldn't keep families together? No, it doesn't mean that. It means, can you handle it? Or are you going to commit suicide or become a drunk or just freak out for the rest of your life because somebody left you? That doesn't sound very adaptable, does it? Now we're talking, I slowed it down again. Earth is a place the souls are sent to evolve. How are you doing? Because I'll tell you a secret. Darwin, when they went out to the Galapagos Islands, I think I got it right, they found these birds that had beaks. But in the different islands, the beaks were different length. But it was the same bird. And Darwin studied and said, finally he realized, oh my God, on this island, there's a lot of rocks with crevices in them. And the seeds from the trees that the birds want to eat fell into the crevices. Over time, the beaks evolved to be able to get down into the crevices. On the other islands, they didn't because there weren't crevices. Oh, I see. Survival of the fittest. Adaptability. I ask you again, how are you doing inside? Not even close. You're not even trying to evolve. What you're trying to do is say, I am limited. My emotions are limited. My thoughts are limited. It's very limited in here. I have preferences, don't I? All right? I prefer that there not be crevices in these rocks. Good luck. I don't want to evolve. So basically, you're in there, and what you said is, okay, I'm going to put it all together now. What you said is, I've had experiences in the past that I don't like. What does that mean? I'm in here. I'm focused on me, not God. I'm looking down, not up. I'm distracted by my senses, by my thought, okay? And I'm pushing away that which I don't like. Therefore, it's stored inside of me. So what does that do to you? It creates preferences. I know you don't like my talking about this. Every single preference you have is based on what you suppressed in the past. Either you held it, you liked it so much, I'm not going to let it go. Oh my God, I looked at you, you're so beautiful. I only have eyes for you, dear. Like, don't go away. Stay with me. We'll do everything together. In other words, I'm clinging to something outside. I'm resisting something outside. Therefore, when it comes inside, it stays in there because I'm resisting it. I'm forcing it down. I'm clinging to it. So now what happens? Now I have a preference. That's what a preference is. That's what a desire is. Don't you dare sit there and say my preferences are of God. Master once gave a talk, desire my great enemy. Why is desire my great enemy? Because it distracts me. My preferences distract me. That's exactly what they are. They are the things that I don't want to grow a beak. I want things to be the way I want them to be. Do you want things to be the way you want them to be? In other words, I don't want to evolve. If every single thing was exactly the way you want it to be, you had no reason to take birth. Because life is a place the souls are sent to evolve, and you're not going to evolve. You have enough money, enough power to make everything be exactly the way you want. I don't think I want to be around you because you're going to manipulate, control, fight, force. I'm going to make it be the way I want it to be. Is it naturally the way you want it to be? No. Why? Because it's the way it is. Now we're talking Zen. Flowers are red, water's blue, grass is green. What does that mean? Things are the way they are. The natural forces of creation ended up, that's how they are. I don't want it to be blue. Well, you better get busy. I don't want grass to be green. You better get busy. I have decided inside of me, based on the stuff I stored from the past, what you like, what you dislike are programmed inside of you based on your past experiences. You're programmed. Psychology says so. It says man is the sum of his learned experiences. It's not true. You're the consciousness that sees what you're looking at as the sum of your learned experiences. But every single thing you like and dislike and what you want and what you don't want and what you're afraid of is all past experience. If you've never seen a snake before in your entire life and never heard about one, you're not afraid of them. Now have an experience. You never go to a reptile zoo again. You're programmed by your past experiences. So that's where your preferences and your desires and your hopes and your dreams and your concepts and your views come from. That's why she's different than you. That's why it's so wrong to say, how could you think like that? Because everybody had different experiences. I always get to that lately. Did anybody have the same experiences you had every moment of your life? Never. Never ever happened. Never will happen. Therefore, you think different than everybody else. But I'm right. I know you think you're right because all the data you've taken in, those are your experiences, as data. All the data you've taken in supports how you think. Of course it does. That's why you think the way you think. It's not fair to say that means I'm right. They're just pieces of data, and everybody has different pieces of data. Therefore, everybody thinks they're right. Do you think you're right? I know I'm right. I'm not stupid. I've experienced this personally. I experienced personally what a divorce feels like. It's disgusting. I'll never get married again. And you know you're right, right? Of course you think you're right. Because that's the data you have. And that's the emotions that got created. That's what you stored. That's why we can't get along. Imagine all the people living life at peace. Good luck. Can it happen? Yes, it can happen. When? When you're willing to honor and respect everything I just talked about. That you are not who you think you are. You're something very, very great, and so is everybody else. But they're lost in staring at themselves. Are they not? Are you not? You're lost in staring at what your mind got programmed to be. And you start to realize, okay, I'm not right, but I can see why I think the way I think. Wow, boy, that would be very nice. I want to negotiate with you. In other words, you become open to understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You're just programmed by the past experiences that made you have those thoughts and emotions. So I've slowed it down enough to what I'm saying. What you're in there, check. There are thoughts, check. Where'd they come from? Now, if you have intellectual thoughts, go build an airplane, go make air conditioning. That's just wonderful. All right. I'm talking about personal thoughts, what you like and what you don't like. Those are personal thoughts. What I like and what I don't like. Well, I don't understand. Life is what it is. How do you have the right to like that it rained yesterday or not like that it rained on your birthday when you're in 5th grade? You hate the rain. I don't understand. Those are personal thoughts. They got programmed based on like and dislike from your past, and now you think that way. And you try to make the world match. Okay, I'm going to say the big one. Are you not trying to make moments of your life match the way you want them to be? Good luck, guys. There's this thing called science. There's this thing called why things are the way they are. Okay? And if you don't like that water's blue, I'm very sorry. And if you don't like that this is different than that, and if you don't like that it rained, I don't like that it might rain tomorrow. Wow. Am I in trouble? Right or wrong? How'd you decide you don't want it to rain tomorrow? You're a farmer. I want it to rain tomorrow. You're having a birthday party outside. You don't want it to rain. Do you see this personal stuff? Okay, you're in big trouble because you're going to try and make the world outside of you match what you want it to be inside, and what's inside is just programmed based on all these past experiences that you had. It ain't going to match. It's not about getting what you want. It's not about avoiding what you don't want. It's about taking a step back and saying, why do I have these wants and not wants instead of having respect for reality? Why don't I just sit there and wake up in the morning and say, I'm back. I'm back. I'll spend a few years here. I won't be here very long. Don't worry. All right? You're in here. Have a good time. Not have a good time meaning down there. Be fine inside. I don't care what's happening. I don't care your melodrama. People want to tell me, oh, this happened, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Let go. But what if it's real? It is real. It's fine. But you're fixating on it. It comes and it goes. You don't know what's going to happen. Don't make it up in your mind, please. If you have fear of a snake, you know when you go walking out there's going to be a snake. That's why you don't want to go walking in the woods. You did this. And you start to realize, okay, maybe I could be more open. Maybe I could not believe what my mind is saying. There's a big one. How would you like to not have to believe all the junk your mind says? I don't know. I love her so much. If she ever left me, oh, I know I would die. I know she says she loves me, but I bet she had relationships before. They didn't last forever. They didn't, obviously. I'm not the first relationship she ever... This is your mind thinking. I'm not the first relationship she ever had. Oh, my God, I never thought of that. She must have left those relationships, so she'll probably leave me. Oh, this is going to be terrible. I would get hurt so much. I better find a secondary relationship on the side so that I'm protected should she decide to leave me like she left everybody else. You know what? That's not so far off what I just gave you, is it? You can make a mess of yourself, can't you? What do I do about it? Techniques only take a minute. I could take forever teaching you pranayama and this and that mantra. No. Do you get what's going on? Do you see you're in there and you're being distracted and then storing and it's coming back up and you're trying to make it match what you stored and not match what you did? You understand that? You are struggling because of preferences, because of desires. Where'd you get your desires? I told you stored them inside. They're just personal things. What's the answer? Buddha made it very simple. Four Noble Truths. First, all life is suffering. I think he hit it. They were pretty close, all right? 2, the cause of suffering is desires or preferences. You suffer because you want things to be a certain way. You suffer because you don't want things to be a certain way. The cause of all suffering is preference. If you're in here and your attitude is, bring it on. I'm sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowhere. I'll just be here for a few years. I am going to have the experiences. Which ones? The ones I'm having. Nobody once did this. There's bumper stickers out there. I'd rather be surfing. I'd rather be sailing. Yes or no? All right? I gave a talk once way back in the 80s, and they made bumper stickers. We're not doing them anymore. They made bumper stickers on the book table that said, I'd rather be doing what I'm doing. If you'd rather be doing what you're doing, you don't suffer. So the cause of suffering is that you have made up, based on your past experiences, how you want the outside world to be. How much of it? Everything. I know what I want you to say. I know how I want you to dress. I know what you want this. It's like, what are you doing? What's wrong? There's a planet here. It's a beautiful planet. Even with all the pollution, it's an amazing planet. There's nothing like it anywhere else. Go to Mars, see how long you last. Go anywhere in the universe. We have all these telescopes, the Hubble and the James Webb, right? They can look everywhere. They don't see anything. You're on a planet. There's animals. There's things. There's roaches. Wow. There's everything. It's such a happening place. And all you do is complain because you made up how you want it to be. If you don't do that, and I highly advise that you don't. That's the spiritual path. Acceptance, honor, respect, surrender. So you sit there and say, I woke up in the morning, things are going to happen today. Well, maybe I better be adaptable. Maybe I better look out in the world and say, wow, there are stars, and there's moons, and there's people, and there's things, and there's thoughts. And okay, I can handle it. Does it mean you don't interact? Of course you interact. And you're going to interact, to be honest, you're going to interact by the sum of your learned experiences. You can't help it. That's the data you got. But you're wiser that you understand that's what's going on. This is the sum of my learned experiences. That's the sum of hers, the sum of hers, some of hers, some of hers. That's okay. It's not going to be the way I want it to be. It's not going to be the sum of my learned experiences, and I'm not going to suffer. But it doesn't mean I don't work toward it. Doesn't mean if I feel inspired to paint, that I just get some paint, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Or play the piano. I can play here. It's a playpen. But it's not supposed to be the way I want it to be. It can't be the way you want it to be, because then it's not the way other people want it to be. Is that okay with you? Yes, I did it my way. Well, you made a mess. Anybody understand what we've done? We slowed it down enough to where there is a way out. Stop getting pulled in to yourself. I'm a nice Jewish yogi. I love Christ's teachings. He said you must die to be reborn. Do you know what that means? You must die of the personal self to be reborn into who you are, into the spiritual self. You must let go of this personal junk that you built inside, okay? But when you're going to interact, you're going to get married. You're going to have children, if that's what happens. Well, what if it doesn't happen? What if I don't have children? I know a lot of people that wish they didn't have children. It didn't turn out so good. You understand that? Okay? Well, what if I didn't want to have children and now I'm having a child? Work with it. Grow. Change. Don't sit there and say I can only be okay if everything's the way I want it to be. Because you will never be okay, ever. And that's not what's happening. So your evolution is adaptability. I'm adaptable. I can handle it. But what happens if I love somebody? Then marry them. But I don't understand. What? I don't understand. You feel love, you feel attractive, you get along, so on. But what happens if we start fighting? Well, try to work with it. Try to find a way of why. Now you have better tools, right, to see why we're fighting, because you had different experiences than me, all right? And well, what if somebody dies? I'll do it really. I just want you to get it. What if somebody dies that I love a whole lot? Your heart's going to hurt. Why? Because you shared energy, and there's energy coming out of you connecting with this other person, and now they're not there like that. And so there needs to be a rearrangement of the energy inside your heart. That's why your heart hurts. You make me cry. Do you understand that? It's totally natural. Ever feel connected? Ever feel energy come from your heart into somebody else's? That has now not flowing like that anymore. It needs to rearrange. Well, it'll never be right. Yes, it will be fine. In fact, it'll be better. You will have learned how to go through a death. You will have learned how to go through a loss. That's part of your beak grew bigger. You learn. Does that mean when somebody dies, I'm happy? No, it doesn't. It means you're okay feeling the pain. That's what it means. But how do I not feel the pain? No, that's the wrong question. How do I be okay and honor and respect the humanity that's down there and the pain that it's feeling, and be with it and help it and rise above it? That's how you live. You live from back here, and you honor, respect what's going on down there. You help it. You raise it up. You just keep raising it up, okay? And if it needs to feel pain, you honor its right to feel the pain. Get into the pain, go down into it and suffer. No. Great being never leaves the self. They're conscious, they're aware of being conscious, and they're helping raise what's happening down there. And if you do that every day, you have an opportunity. The weather's not what you want it to be. Honor that. Respect that. Offer it up. It's fine. I like the weather. I might as well. The driver in front of me is not driving the way I want them to. I honor their right to drive that way. I honor my right to get disturbed by it, and I honor my right to offer all that up and say, whee, isn't this fun? All of it's fun. All of it's fun. Okay? Well, we had a very deep talk about slowing it down so you can see what's going on. Otherwise, you're just going to wham, get distracted and pull and struggle and fight and complain, right? That was a big word I used. I told you the big was distraction, identification. I get this thing about complaining. Can you see now how absurd complaining is? I don't like the way it is. Okay, you don't like the flowers are red, the water's blue. No, I honor and respect reality. Then I deal with it. Okay, I would go on forever because I care about you so much. I don't want you to suffer. I want you to evolve. Evolve. Jagrata.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.